salmon that can be sold in just a span of 18 months instead of 3 years? How about a heart pig transplanted into a human being? All of this was made possible through a process called genetic engineering. Later on, by modifying and manipulating the genes of organisms through genetic engineering, genetically modified organisms were produced. This means that genetically modified organisms contains DNA that has been altered. Back then, artificial selection for specific undesired trait has been utilized to produce a variety of different organisms. However, it was limited to naturally occurring variations, example of which is the sweet corn and the hairless cow. Crop plants, farm animals, and soil bacteria have been subjected to genetic engineering to optimize agricultural performance and to facilitate the production of valuable pharmaceutical substances.
One of the most commonly used of the genetically modified organisms are the GMOs, or the agricultural plants. The advantages of the genetic engineering agriculture are increased crop yields, enhanced composition and food quality, resistance to pests and diseases, greater food production, and medical benefits for the society. Advances had been made in developing crops that mature faster and tolerate environmental stressors such as aluminum and salt, allowing plants to grow in conditions where they might not otherwise flourish. Animals have also been genetically conducted to increase yield and decrease vulnerability to diseases. For instance, salmon have been engineered to grow and mature faster. Cattle have also been modified to expose resistance to medical diseases. Therefore, the purpose of the GMO is generally enhancing total growth, decreasing overall costs, and decreasing the chances of any vulnerable diseases.
Now, let us proceed to the examples of genetically modified organisms or GMO from agricultural biotechnology. We have genetically conferred trait, example organism, and genetic change. These are the approved commercial products. We have soybeans, corn, canola, and plum. Soybeans. Soybeans has been genetically modified to improve the quality of the soy oil. Corn. Corn resistance to insect pests, especially the European corn borer, through expression of the insecticidal protein. Canola. Canola is altered fatigue composition. Canola also improves agronomic performance and enhanced oil quality.
Plum, a gene from the harmful PPV virus, and put it into DNA plum trees. This created new plum trees that had a special protective gene from the virus, which they hope would help the trees resist PPV virus and stay healthy. Now, let's proceed to the product still in development, which is rice, tobacco, maize, koa salmon. Tobacco. Tobacco plants substance used to create a vaccine for a disease that affect people in developing country. This could potentially help for those people from getting sick. Rice. Rice plant had been modified into increase micronutrients such as vitamin A, accelerate photosynthesis, tolerate herbicides, resist pests, increase green size, generate nutrients, flavors, and produce human proteins.
Maize. Maize is a tall growing grains, genetically modified crop. Specific maize strains have been genetically engineered to express agriculturally desirable traits, including resistance to pests and to herbicides. The last one is the CoA salmon. CoA salmon is a type 1 growth hormone gene injected into fertilized fish eggs, results in 6.2% retention of the vector at 1 year of age, as well as significantly increased growth rates.
Although the transfer of genes found naturally in other species is a common occurrence, altering an organism's natural state through the expression of foreign genes can have unknown consequences. This alteration can impact the organism's metabolism, growth rate, and response to the environment, affecting not only the genetically modified organism itself, but the natural environment where it can thrive. There are potential risks to human health, such as the potential exposure to new allergens in genetically modified foods and the transfer of antibiotic-resistant genes to gut bacteria.
One example of public debate over the use of genetically modified plants involves the case of BT corn. BT corn expresses a protein from the bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis means it is a bacterium that is naturally found in soil throughout the world and work as an insecticide against different orders of pests and insects in agriculture and in medicine. Before the construction of the recombinant form, the protein had long been known to be toxic for several pestiferous insects, including the monarch caterpillar. And it is successfully used as an environmentally friendly insecticide for several years. It reduces the amount of insecticide that farmers must apply to their crops, so it is super beneficial. The now famous BT corn controversy was started with a laboratory study by Lose et al., which the mortality of monarch larvae was reportedly higher when fed with milkweed or their natural food supply covered with pollen from a transgenic corn than fed with milkweed covered with pollen from the ordinary corn. And it is followed by another publication from Jesse and Rubricki in 2000 suggesting that natural levels of BT corn pollens in the field were harmful to monarchs. Pests and crops were a big problem for farmers, but both of their study is how to lessen it. There is also a concern about the potential impact of BT toxins on non-target organisms such as beneficial insects. While BT toxins are generally considered safe from non-target organisms, some studies have suggested that BT corn pollens may have an adverse effect on beneficial insects that may have contact with it. Most studies suggested that BT corn has a little if any impact on predators and parasitoids, and when compared with maize-treated chemical insecticides, BT corn often results in increased biodiversity. It is safe to say that using BT or consuming BT corn is very safe for human consumption, not just human but other livestock as well. GMOs that have the BT gene are compatible with biological control programs. That is why it is super beneficial to the farmers and the environment for less uses of chemicals.
Private companies also claim ownership over the genetically modified organisms that they create. They are issued of not being able to share them to the public, which can cause harm to the environment and the economy. However, the argument was proven wrong by the meta-analysis of 15 studies that revealed that on average, 2/3 of the benefits of the